Hi, thank you very much for joining us once again. Welcome back. This is our fifth lecture on UAE Economic Substance Regulations. In this lecture, we will discuss relevant activities in detail. While discussing the scope of economic substance regulation, we had established that economic substance regulation would be applicable on the licensee which is not being held at least 51% by the government, and the licensee is conducting the relevant activities. And these relevant activities, we had discussed there are 9 relevant activities, and we had not discussed the detail of relevant activities at that time. Now we will discuss all these activities one by one. And the first one is banking business. For the banking business, it has been very clearly written in the Economic Substance Regulations Guide that if the licensee is accepting deposits, and these deposits are being used for loans, advances, overdraft, guarantee, or these deposits are being used for investment, then the licensee will be subject to economic substance regulations. If these deposits are not being used for investment, loan, advance, or overdraft purposes, then licensee will not be subject to ESR. If licensee is not accepting any deposits, then licensee will not be subject to economic substance regulation. We need to stick to the very basic definitions. Usually such licensees which are involved in the banking business, these are regulated under the Central Bank, Dubai International Financial Authority, Dubai Financial Services Authority, Financial Services Regulatory Authority, or either Abu Dhabi Global Markets. And whatever the deposits such licensee are accepting, these deposits can be withdrawn, repayable on demand for a fixed term. There is no specific requirement for this. The basic two conditions are licensee is accepting deposits and these deposits are being used for loan, advances, overdraft, or investment purposes. And financial intermediaries, the parties which are acting as a middleman, these parties will not be subject to economic substance regulations, because these parties definitely they will not be accepting deposits. These parties will not be subject to economic substance regulation, as they will not be fulfilling the basic requirements for the banking business. Moreover, they said if the licensee is doing any other activity, any other relevant activity along with the banking business, then to avoid the duplicate reporting, economic substance test will not be applicable on the other relevant activity, but it will be applicable on the banking business. So what are the core income generating activities for such relevant activity? They said banks are raising funds in UAE, taking hedging positions in UAE, providing loans within UAE, managing capital, and preparing reports within the UAE. So if all these things are happening in UAE, then we will say SIGA test is being met. What is the regulatory authority? We have already discussed. It may be central bank, or it can be a relevant competent authority that we have discussed. It can be DAFC, DFSA, FSRA, or ADGM. Here are some examples. In the first example, bank offers saving account and loans, means bank is accepting deposits as well as bank is giving loan. Yes, it will be subject to ESR. In the second example, bank has a license to accept the deposits but not granting loans or making any investment. If you will go in detail, this is a summary. Basically, bank is accepting deposits but the bank is not granting any loans or making any investment, so it will not be subject to ESR. In the third example, this is a branch. This branch is assisting in the account opening means branch is not accepting deposits, not giving any loan or making any investment, so it will not be subject to economic substance regulations. Next, insurance business. In the insurance business, they said the licensee is accepting the risks, and these risks they are accepting both in the life and non-life sector. If the licensee is accepting risks in the life and non-life sectors, then it will be subject to ESR, otherwise it will not be subject to ESR. So they said it includes the insurance, reinsurance and captive insurance arrangement as well. And what is this captive insurance arrangement? Captive insurance arrangement is where the insurance company is wholly owned and controlled by the insureds. Its primary purpose is to insure the risks of the owner. Basically, owners are making insurance company, and this insurance company is covering the risks of the owner. So this is called captive insurer. So in case of captive insurer, in case of insurance, in case of reinsurance, these all will be subject to ESR, subject to the condition they are accepting the risks in the life and non-life insurance. Such licensees are regulated under the UAE Insurance Authority, under the DFSA, DIFC, FSRA that we have discussed. This stands for Dubai Financial Services Authority, Dubai International Financial Center, Financial Services Regulatory Authority, and Abu Dhabi Global Market. Again, like intermediaries will not be subject to ESR in the banking sector, in the same way the intermediaries here in the insurance sector, all insurance brokers, it will not be subject to ESR because they are not accepting risks. They are just acting as a middleman. Policy will ultimately be written by the respective insurance company. And to prevent duplicate reporting, it has been written that captive insurance services will not be considered under the distribution and service center businesses. What are the core income generating activities for insurance? They said predicting and calculating risks, insuring or reinsurance, or underwriting insurance and reinsurance. If all these activities are being happened in UAE, though we will say SIGA test is being met. And the related regulatory authority will be insurance authority, competent authority of the respective free zone, competent authority of the financial free zone. So it can be out of this any one of them. An example, First Life Insurance, this is an insurance company. This insurance company is accepting risks related to life, health, car. It means insurance company is accepting life and non-life risks, and this is being regulated under the respective regulatory authority, so it will be subject to ESR. In the second example, these are the intermediaries who are acting as a middleman in between the insurer and insured, so they are not accepting any risks, so it will not be subject to ESR. Thank you very much for joining us. In our next lecture, we will discuss further relevant activities. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.